What's happening, everybody? Today I want to talk about one of DC's most popular characters, Batgirl, and all of her many representations, portrayals, and incarnations throughout the years. This kind of came about because I was on Twitter one day and I just kind of threw this out there as one of my questions of the day regarding Batgirl. Specifically, it was because I've been working on my Cassandra Cain run, which was actually the first Batgirl series. Cass Cain, who's the daughter of Lady Shiva and like David Cain or something like that. I think that's his name. She had the first series, which began in 2000 and ran for, I don't know, it ran a few years. So I'm working on that series run, and so I was on Twitter, I was like, oh, so I compiled a bunch of pictures. Originally it was just gonna be the comic versions of her, all the different comic book characters who've taken the mantle of Batgirl, regardless of how long the stint was. But then I kind of extended it to the live action ones as well. And I kind of said I didn't include all of them. I didn't include them at all. But I just kind of said, hey, if you have a favorite voice actor who's voiced Batgirl, go ahead, shout her out as well. So now we get to, I figured, you know what? I did on Twitter. Let me bring it to YouTube, take it to all the other fans out there, YouTube comic community, and all the other DC fans out there, and just kind of see who's your favorite Batgirl. So we're gonna jump right into it with probably most popular, I guess, Barbara Gordon, Babs. Who's held it the longest. I'm not gonna get too much in history, all that stuff, just like publication history, all that, but just kind of throw it out there. Barbara Gordon, obviously, who she currently has a title going on right now. She was part of the New 52, and did she have a previous one before that one? I don't remember now. Now I'm getting them all mixed up because I know Stephanie Brown, who is my personal favorite, she had, even though it was a very short-lived series, but she also had time as spoiler. But I just loved her series as Batgirl. I think that was Power Girl ran 27 issues. Her Batgirl run ran 24 issues, I think. And I think part of that one was, part of the draw for me was her costume, the purple and the yellow, and just those colors, and the overall design of it has always been my favorite Batgirl costume, followed by Cass Cain, who is, it's hard to say who's my second favorite, Babs or Cass. I read more Babs, obviously New 52, and then the current run, and then her in Birds of Prey, and then other series as well. So Babs, Cass Cain, Stephanie Brown, and you also jump into Helena Bertinelli, who most people know as the Huntress. But she also, what I didn't know anyway, when I was just researching all the different Batgirls, she also had a brief stint as Batgirl during the No Man's Land arc, which I thought was pretty fascinating. And No Man's Land ran I think that was just extremely long series. But as I said, it was just a short run because I guess her and Batman kind of went at odds about her methods. So she eventually was stripped of that and went back to Huntress, which that's just who she is. It didn't work with Batgirl, whatever, that's okay. But then there's also one who, way back, her name was Betty Kane, and I believe it was during the Golden Age, but then her name was just a little bit different because it was hyphenated. So that was kind of thrown in there, but I figured I'd mix her in as well because it's still a Batgirl name, so that's okay. And don't know much about her, obviously never read anything about her. She did eventually come back as carrying the alias Flamebird, and she was also known Mary Elizabeth Betty Kane, which was, I believe, her full name. So, and then another one, very short-lived as well, almost so that you probably can barely even call her that, but just, I guess it was just enough to count. So her name's Charlotte Charlie Gage Radcliffe. Very short run in the Birds of Prey comic where she took over as Batgirl, and if she did have superpowers, she just took over for a while just to kind of honor the character, but eventually it was just kind of dissuaded to keep doing that, and then eventually just went on to take on the mantle, the name Misfit. So that was Gage Radcliffe there, Charlie. So those were the 6, you could say, characters who have taken on the mantle of Batgirl at some point in time. And then obviously Betty Kane and Charlie, you those are kind of the two on the outside. And I'm like, it's a bit of a stretch if you want to include them, but I figured I just go full all and put them in there as well, just in case. I mean, you're going with Betty, you're probably some historians, Golden Age historians, and then Charlie, just for the hell of it, just in case if you did read for the Birds of Prey fans. And then, so that was the comic with representations. Then I didn't want to get into too much of the voice actors because there have been so many. You have so many from the different animated series as well as the video games. But I will shout out probably the most well-known one from the Batman animated series, Melissa Gilbert. So shout out to her. And at the end, when I do my questions, I'll kind of throw that out there as well. But so that's to give her a little shout out. And then now for the live action ones, there have been just a few, but I want to shout out to Yvonne Craig, who portrayed Batgirl in the old live action series. Obviously, anybody, I guess you probably still catch it sometime if today, maybe you had DVDs or something, but people who grew up on that, a lot of the older crowd probably grew up on that series, so they probably have a fondness for her. And then this one, I was like reluctant to even, I just had to do it obviously because I wanted to include her. But in these awful Joel Schumacher Batman movies, gotta include Alicia Silverstone. Now, technically she didn't go by Barbara Gordon because she played Alfred's niece, I think, but she went by Barbara Wilson, but it was still a representation of Batgirl, so I gotta include her. Plus, like I said, I was reluctant to do that because those movies are awful, but then also because it was Barbara Wilson and not specifically Barbara Gordon, but still she was Batgirl, so Barbara Wilson, Batgirl, Alicia Silverstone in the movies. And then I don't even know who, if you even remember this series, let me know in the comments below, but the Batgirl or the Birds of Prey live action series had their own Batgirl portrayed by Dina Meyer, and I don't even know how many episodes this went, but I do remember it, and it was definitely a brief series, so it was not long lived. So if you remember that, and if you like Dina Meyer, hey, let me know. And then I just had to do this one just because it was funny to me, but had to shout out Lexi Bell because she did portray Batgirl in the, I forgot what it was called, I think it was just called Batman XXX porn parody. So if you know who Lexi Bell is, hey. So that one was entertaining as well. So those are the live action actresses who have portrayed Batgirl in some form. So all of them a little bit different, but still all portraying Barbara, just Barbara Gordon, and then the exception of Barbara Wilson. So that's that. Those are, like I said, just wanted to compile all the comic versions of Batgirl, all the characters who've taken up that name. The shout out Melissa Gilbert for voice acting, and all the live action ones as well. So now I present the questions to you. Who's your favorite Batgirl and why? Like I said, I didn't want to get into too much of the history. Just want to kind of run through a couple things briefly. So just let me know, share in the comments below. Who's your favorite Batgirl? As I said, Stephanie Brown was mine, and part of the draw was her costume, so that was made to check me out. But I stuck around because the character was just handled so well, and it was what was it? It was only a couple of years. I think it's 20-something issues, but short, I mean, still solid run. So solid and enjoyable. And she had a lot of fun, especially there was this one issue with her and Supergirl, which was fun. And I remember, I think an art journal cover, and yeah, it was just fun stuff. So that was Stephanie Brown. And as I said, this all started because I'm working on my Cassandra Cain run, and I'm also doing my Batgirl Rebirth. I'm working on that run right now as well. So 2 Batgirl runs I'm working on collecting. Cassandra Cain, which was, I think it ran 80-something issues maybe. I don't think it quite hit 100. And then Batgirl right now, which is up to 40, 45, 42, something like mid-40s. So let us know in the comments below, who's your favorite Batgirl? Why? Which costume's your favorite? And just some of your favorite Batgirl stories and memories as well. And if you do prefer a voice actor, go ahead, shout them out, and which series or video game they portrayed the character in. And yeah, so that's that. Let me know what you think, and yeah, let's share and just kind of talk about Batgirl. So also, if you're reading, if you've been collecting Batgirl comics, which runs are you working on? So, yep, let us know in the comments below. So that's that. Thanks for watching, and peace out.